The greatest event in human history might happen, and you won't even notice. Yes, the rapture is coming, but not the way most Christians imagine. There won't be booming trumpets for everyone to hear, nor crowds screaming in panic on the streets. The rapture will come silently, like a whisper in the middle of the night, and many who believe they are prepared won't notice anything happening. Life will go on, people working, sleeping, planning, thinking there's still time. This uncomfortable truth contradicts almost everything we were taught. We expect something visible, grand, spectacular. But God has always worked behind the scenes. He took Enoch without warning. He lifted Elijah in a chariot that only a few witnessed. And now, more than ever, the rapture will follow that same divine pattern. Discreet, strategic, deeply selective. While some search for signs in the sky, others are already being marked here on earth, in silence. Most Christians are not ready, and that's no exaggeration. Many have their Bibles open to Psalms, but their hearts are closed to the Spirit. They believe they'll recognize the moment, but they'll be caught off guard because the separation has already begun. It's in the secret place, in spiritual routines, in unseen vigilance, that the chosen are being identified, and those waiting for a grand spectacle will be left behind, thinking it was just the beginning. If you still believe, there'll be a final alert, a heavenly warning to prepare. This video is your final call. The rapture will happen silently, and many Christians won't even notice. But those with spiritual ears will feel it. They'll know, and they'll be taken. Now the question is, will you be among those who perceive it, or among those who go on thinking, nothing happened? Nowadays, many Christians, and even people who've never opened a Bible, carry a cinematic image of the rapture in their minds. It's like everyone expects a fireworks show, lightning in the sky, angels descending in formation, and crowds vanishing in front of security cameras. This Hollywood-style rapture has been fed by movies, fiction books, and even some sensationalist sermons. But does the Word actually confirm all that drama? Or is the true revelation hidden in a subtle detail that almost no one sees? Jesus was very clear in his words, yet many ignore the sober tone of his warning. He said 2 would be in the field, 1 taken, the other left. No thunder, no spectacle, just a quiet and subtle separation. And when you think about it, that's far more terrifying, because it means it could happen in the middle of the day, while you're at the store, at work, or on a regular phone call. It's the kind of moment only the spiritually alert will notice, those who keep oil in their lamps. That's where the real danger lies, waiting for some grand sign and being caught off guard when it all happens without notice. How many times in life have you missed something important because you were waiting for the perfect moment? Opportunities don't usually knock loudly. The rapture will be the same. That's why we need to shift our focus from emotional hype to spiritual vigilance. Being alert isn't about feeling something powerful, it's about living in constant discernment. While some are still waiting for a supernatural spectacle, those with spiritual ears have already begun hearing the divine whisper. And here lies the greatest risk of all, continuing to believe there's still time, when in truth, the door has already begun to close. And those who aren't prepared won't even realize when everything changes for good. Jesus didn't choose his words lightly. When he said he would come like a thief, it wasn't poetic imagery, it was a strategic revelation. A thief doesn't schedule appointments or send reminders. He comes when no one expects it, and only leaves traces for those who were alert before the break-in. This comparison reveals that Jesus' goal isn't to create fear, but to prepare those who truly love him. He's looking for watchmen, not an audience. The problem is that many people still live as if they know the day and hour of his return. They make plans for 10 years ahead, but can't spare 10 minutes a day for prayer. Jesus used the image of the thief to test our vigilance, not our curiosity. The point isn't to figure out the timing, but to live in a way where any moment could be the right one. And let's be honest, how can someone be caught off guard if they live prepared every single day? This kind of vigilance isn't paranoia, it's wisdom. People living in high-crime areas don't leave their doors unlocked out of convenience. It's about responsibility. Likewise, the believer who understands the thief mode of the rapture doesn't walk around spiritually asleep. They lock their minds against distractions, guard their hearts from sin, and stay alert with eyes of faith. And yes, this is built through daily habits, like reading Proverbs each morning or taking a weekly break from social media to seek God. What's most curious is that this divine move of arriving quietly is nothing new. God has always worked in silence. The birth of Jesus, for example, didn't get Roman media coverage, yet it changed human history. Likewise, the rapture won't make headlines. It'll happen in an instant, and by the time people realize it, it'll already be over, and many will still be waiting for a loud sign, unaware that the separation has already begun. The parable of the 10 virgins is one of the most overlooked and one of the most urgent. They all had lamps. They were all waiting for the bridegroom. But only half had enough oil when he arrived. Yes, the door was opened, but it was also shut. And when the foolish ones came knocking in desperation, they heard a phrase that still echoes like a silent thunder. "I don't know you." This is the reality many don't want to face. Not everyone who's waiting is truly prepared. The world spins as if there's endless time, as if heaven will adjust to human schedules. There are believers who can recite end times theology perfectly, but live like they have 1,000 years ahead of them. Others attend church regularly, but their intimacy with God is like a social media follower who never likes or comments, a faith that looks alive but lacks depth. And on the day that door closes, there'll be no time left to improvise spirituality. What's most shocking is how the bridegroom's arrival wasn't announced with fanfare, but with a sudden midnight cry, a quick call, no second chances. Those who were ready went in. Those who weren't ran, but ran too late. That biblical scene shows us that the rapture won't be announced with headlines in bold print. It'll be an internal event, noticed only by those who have already been practicing vigilance in secret. The separation will occur before the world even notices anything has changed. Today, many are waiting for grand signs before they finally turn to God for real, like they're gambling with eternity. But Jesus made it clear, the door won't be held open by late mercy. When it closes, it's closed, and no one can force it open. Which leads to a sobering question. What if the signs you're still waiting for have already passed before your eyes, and you simply didn't notice? We're living in intense times, wars erupting across various regions, recent pandemics still leaving scars, earthquakes striking in unexpected places. For those with spiritual eyes, these feel like prophetic alarms. But the most troubling part isn't the chaos, it's the apathy. Most people treat these events as just another news story and go on with life as if nothing is happening, as if heaven were just a religious concept, not a ticking reality. The issue has never been the lack of signs, it's the spiritual blindness to discern them. The Bible never said the end would be marked only by grand catastrophes. It warned that the real danger would be coldness of heart. Many believers today have become comfortable. They're so caught up in routine, streaming shows, bills, and social media that they don't even notice the prophetic clock is still ticking. It's like they're waiting for a siren to sound from the sky. But God doesn't shout. He whispers. And that whisper is slipping past a generation addicted to noise. Spirituality became an accessory when it was meant to be an anchor. The pandemic, for instance, was a divine opportunity to wake the world up. And what happened? Many did seek God at first, yes. But once things normalized, everything returned to the old patterns. Empty churches, closed Bibles, distracted hearts. This proves the rapture could occur while everyone's staring at the sky and still not seeing heaven move. Because it's not about seeing, but perceiving. And spiritual perception doesn't come through the eyes. It comes from an awakened spirit. Here lies the great danger. Thinking everything's fine just because nothing spectacular seems to be happening. The deception is collective, but salvation is personal. It doesn't matter if we're in a prophetic time, if our hearts remain distracted by trivial things. A heart that's sensitive to the Spirit can recognize when heaven is moving, even when everything around it feels normal. And maybe, just maybe, right now, as the world lives, like in the days of Noah, the Spirit is already separating those who can hear the sound of divine silence. Many believe the rapture will begin with a roar from the sky, but the truth is, it's already begun, on the inside. It's a silent, almost invisible movement, where the Holy Spirit is separating those who live watchfully from those who only pretend to be awake. Those who have oil in their vessels already sense that something in the air has shifted. There's a kind of holy restlessness, a spiritual urgency that can't be explained, only felt by the sensitive. It's as if God is marking his own, like a shepherd who knows the sound of his sheep. This separation isn't loud. It's built on discernment. Some believers are walking away from certain environments, breaking off old sins, reevaluating friendships, changing habits, and they don't even fully know why. It's the Spirit at work. He's cleansing, preparing, awakening. And the most interesting part is that while this is happening, others nearby remain spiritually asleep, even though they attend the same church services and hear the same sermons. Oil isn't shared, it's personal. Either you have it or you don't. It's as if God is activating spiritual senses in certain hearts. People suddenly feel hunger for the Word, a deep urge to pray, a longing to live in holiness. That's not coincidence. That's a divine summons. If you feel something drawing you closer to God, don't ignore it. That soft touch is a clear sign that the Spirit is separating you. But be warned, those who reject this silent call risk hardening their hearts and losing all sensitivity to God. It's like a flickering light. Ignore it, and you're left in darkness. While some are waiting for visible signs and grand revelations, heaven is already on the move. The harvest is happening in secret, behind the scenes of ordinary life. Those who are awake notice it in the little things: a tear during worship, a chill in prayer, an unexplainable peace in the midst of chaos. These are signs that the Spirit is active. But the question is, will the distracted notice in time, or will they only realize it when the watchful are no longer here? God still speaks, but he doesn't compete with the world's noise or the rush of the soul. The Holy Spirit still whispers, but only those who quiet themselves within can hear him. Instead of waiting for lightning bolts or dramatic revelations, discernment begins with small daily habits. Cultivating vigilance is like sharpening a sword each day, even without knowing when it will be used. It takes discipline, reading the Word without relying on emotion, praying without needing a crisis, being with God as with a close friend. Those who live like this hear what many never do. Daily vigilance isn't a burden, it's protection. It's like locking the door before bed. It may feel repetitive, but one day it could save your life. Reading Proverbs every morning, for instance, helps tune the heart to God's rhythm. Keeping a prayer journal to record insights and answers strengthens spiritual sensitivity. Intimacy with God is like any deep relationship, built with consistency, sincerity, and surrender. Those who prioritize this intimacy develop the ability to hear God even in silence. Another key is to trade emotional expectations for spiritual sensitivity. Many mistake God's presence for chills or tears, but the true presence often comes through an unshakable peace or a strong conviction in ordinary moments. God doesn't always make you feel. Often, He simply makes you know. And that only happens to those who are spiritually in tune. That's why training your spirit is essential. Avoid content that dulls your soul and pursue environments that feed your faith. It's like tuning an instrument. Your ears must learn to recognize heaven's tone. The silent rapture will only be perceived by those who live attentive to the invisible. There won't be a second call, no loudspeaker announcement. It will happen subtly, like a wire snapping in the dark, and only those who trained their ears in the secret place will recognize the sound of departure. The time to prepare is now, not when the heavens open, but while they still seem closed. The question is your heart quiet enough to hear the final whisper before the eternal silence? Are you truly ready, or do you just think you are? Because the truth is, when the rapture happens, and yes, it will happen silently, there won't be time to run, pray, or try to change. It'll be like a light that suddenly goes out, and whoever is without oil will be left in the dark. So don't ignore this call. God is speaking now, not with shouts, but with subtle touches to your heart. Look around you. The world is rushing, distracted, chasing after the wind, and even inside churches, many are sleeping with their eyes open. But you can be different. You can be the one who hears what no one else hears, who senses the spiritual movement in the middle of everyday life, who lives ready, not out of fear, but out of love. Because when the rapture comes, those who are ready won't be surprised. They'll simply be taken. Now think,